All right, welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
My name is Vicki.
I'm Zoe.
And I'm last this time. I'm Phil.
It's so weird.
Last but not least.
We've changed the order of the studio. We're now all facing each other for the most part.
I
So it's
like
a
that.
little more homey. There's also an additional seat that if we had a fifth person, that we could indeed actually pull that person in. So if there's somebody out there in the community, we're like, yeah, we got a fifth nerd. We got the fifth wheel. The fifth wheel. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't like that for them.
Yeah, that would be sad.
If you want to be the fifth wheel, you can email Aaron Delay at...
adelayteacher@gmail.com.
Yes, actually going to give it. Okay.
There are a lot of good teams with 5 players.
Yeah. There's
Fair.
plenty. You know,
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Technically the Ninja Turtles if you count Splinter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots
All
of
of basketball.
right.
Okay.
All right, so we are tackling a movie today, which we talked about last week, Just Married. And part of the context of Just Married is a vacation and or honeymoon that goes horribly wrong. And so Phil's suggested question of the day that we are to ask ourselves is that of what is your worst vacation / road trip experience in your life?
Yep.
And Zoe, you said you had one right off the bat.
I do.
You don't want to share first?
No, it's fine. I will. So in 2008, I was in a band when I was younger, and we were touring the Southwest. So we were going from Sedona, Arizona. Sounds crazy, but we were going to try to make it to Boulder, Colorado in the middle of the
geez.
night
Oh,
because we had a gig the next day.
oh no.
My jaw is on the floor. Internet.
So, I would say probably like literally 20 minutes into our road trip, there is a huge dead elk in the middle of the
Oh
road.
no.
The person that was driving I was on the phone with Phil. This was back when we were dating in high school.
Yes.
To the left was a ravine. To the right was an 18-wheeler. So we had to go over the elk.
Oh
Which completely, totaled the car.
Right.
Oh, no. This makes my experience with the tire the other day seem like nothing. I said a very bad word because I thought we were going to get in a wreck.
The car behind us was a sports car. They were also, we found out later, intoxicated.
Oh no.
And they literally went under the 18-wheeler because they weren't going to go through the elk like we did.
Oh no.
And she is alive, but that was,
jeez.
I'm literally still shaking because that night I was freaking out because I thought they were going to be pulling like a dead body
Right.
out.
Jeez.
So that postponed our gig 2 weeks because they had to fix the car. And even when we got back in the car, all you could smell was dead elk, and it was disgusting.
Oh.
So yeah,
That's
fun times.
oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
We did finally make it to Boulder, Colorado, but
Okay.
late. Missed our gig, but that's fine.
And she was on the phone with me the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
And what's
Freaking
crazy
out.
is
What
that's
would have
literally
been
why
like
I'm
to be
here.
on the other side of the phone, just be like, what is happening? Like, what did you think? What was going
I
through your
was
mind?
just like asking her questions like constantly like what's going on now? Like
Yeah. So yeah, that's my story.
Okay.
Who wants to top that one? I'm just kidding.
I can't really top it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So I used to live in Central Asia, Internet. I lived there for 2.5 years, and sometimes weird things happen in Central Asia. So here's my weird vacation story from Central Asia. I went with a guy I was dating at the time and a friend, and we're like, oh, we're going to go to the mountains, and we're going to stay at a place. Well, it ended up being like a sanatorium, and you had to like get your blood pressure taken to stay there, and
Oh wow.
they told me I had like all these health problems, and apparently like the doctor just tells that to everybody. That's what I was told. And we stayed in these little rooms that had a red button from the ceiling, and there were weird unmarked statues in the courtyard and overgrown grass. They had food, and there was pretty mountains, but it was a little weird.
That sounds horrible.
So yeah, that's an unpleasant experience.
So I'm reading a book
Yeah.
that you loaned to me called Everything Tuberculosis, and they talk about
By John Green.
John Green, and it talks about the experience of staying in a sanatorium for these tuberculosis patients, and
Yeah.
it hits a little close to home because that's definitely where we stayed.
yeah.
Yeah, so the one that I would have, this experience is not an indictment of the regional area that we traveled through. It's just this was our experience. So we did a road trip out to Georgia during the Christmas holidays.
Oh, I think I know what you're saying.
And so we made it down fine. Fine if you count driving 20 miles an hour on Kansas highways because the road was pure ice.
No.
And it was very low visibility because of blizzards.
And so all the semis are pulling off. People are literally crawling trying to get to the next town. We all made it, and that was fine. But it was ice all the way down to Nashville, and eventually it warmed up a little bit when we got into Alabama or into Georgia or whatever. But it was on the way back when we went through, was it Alabama?
I think it was Louisiana.
Yeah.
We were leaving New Orleans.
And we were not on major highways. You can
Don't do this,
you can
Internet.
you can hear the thunderstorms and lightning now. So we're under a severe thunderstorm warning out here during the recording of this episode. But we're in the basement, and it's all good. It's just going to be really windy out there for a little bit and a lot of rain. I had to go out and put down the umbrella, so that was fun. I got to deal with that. So we were not on main highways. We were on county highways as we were driving out of Louisiana. And it's a different world culturally and also just like gas station wise. Like there were gas
You
stations.
guys seen The Walking Dead?
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So some of the bathrooms were
Minus the zombies, of course.
some of the bathrooms were the doors were held closed by plastic bags. And you had to wrap it around. It was an interesting.
Some of the toilets were not functional.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was uncomfortable just because we had driven on the way down and through New Orleans and all that. We had no real problems with functional restrooms and gas stations and the like. But that stretch as we were headed up into Texas and all that was just kind of you don't want to prejudge a place or judge a place or judge a group of people who live in a community, but it was a different experience. Whereas they probably were it was so foreign to us because it was just where these gas stations, they don't seem very.
We need to go to the bathroom. We can't go.
Yeah, because you don't the bathrooms aren't secured or that's whatever. And it's just okay. So again, it was just we were not on main highways, and generally on main highways you have gas stations with restrooms that are functional and kept. But this
or at
was
least
rest area.
stops and stuff.
Yeah, we just
We learned the hard way.
we kind of found our way. We got through it and it was fine, but there was about an hour and a half of just kind of 2 hours of being okay, this is different.
Are we gonna make it?
Yeah, are we gonna be okay? And we were fine.
I think if I'd been by myself, I would have been more nervous.
Yeah, it was just odd. I really don't have any other words to say it other than it was odd. I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Phil.
So I technically have two.
Okay.
The most recent one was when Zoe and I came out to Colorado.
Okay.
This last time when we moved out here to Fort Morgan. So we had a BMW that
Don't buy them.
I remember this. I remember this car.
So coming from Winston-Salem to Fort Morgan,
Yeah.
took us 2-3 days.
Well, we had an extra day because my car broke down.
Yeah, but the whole time we would be going down the highway and her car would just shut off.
Yes.
On the middle of the highway. So it was vapor locking. And it was very dangerous.
Yeah.
I remember we pulled into a White Castle,
Yes.
and for a moment I didn't think we were going to leave that White Castle because it was just car would not go, but we forced it here.
And we had no air conditioning the whole time because that would make it worse.
Yep.
It was horrible.
It would make the car overheat even more.
And that was in the middle of July.
Mm-hmm.
Oh jeez.
Kansas was awful.
Yeah.
Really bad. Also. Were you going to say something?
No, I was going to agree that Kansas is a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the traffic alone, and then when your car, you can't really go more than 20 miles an hour, and you're just
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that BMW was a legend because you drove it as an employee at our school for 6 months or more.
Probably just 6 months and I got my new car that I have
Right,
now.
because so her BMW ended up in the shop here in Morgan, and it never got out of the shop. Like it was just stuck in the shop.
It was in the shop for like 6 months.
Yeah.
We went by Thanksgiving. We went by Christmas. We went by New Year's. And I was like, I'm over it.
Yeah. So then she went and got a Honda Accord. Yeah. And that car has never had a problem. Knock on wood.
Hondas are great.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hondas and Toyotas, man. They can't
Me
be
and Vicki
beat.
have the same car.
Yes.
Yep. It's amazing. All right.
Wait.
We got another one. I forgot about that part. Yeah, let's go.
This one I have less memory of because it was so traumatizing.
Right.
This once again involves car trouble.
Of course.
So when I was a kid, my family and we would go from Winston-Salem, because that's where I grew up,
Yeah.
to Cherokee.
Okay.
And you guys know how Appalachia is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 50 miles an hour hairpin turns.
Yeah.
Up and straight
Yeah.
down. And I remember it being dark. And my mom had a 65 Mustang.
Oh, jeez.
And beautiful car.
Right.
My brother washed it to death. He put water in the gas tank.
What? Oh, no.
He was like, Mom, I'm going to wash your car. And it never ran again.
Oh.
But that's not the story. The story is we're heading out to Cherokee. It's dark.
Yeah.
And then the headlights go out.
Oh, no.
On the mountains.
Oh,
no.
I was going to say.
And you guys know, like, there's some, like, one lane.
Yeah.
Half of your tires hanging off the side of the mountain. And, like, we're doing this in the dark, baby.
Oh,
Like,
no.
Good Lord. I had literally, like, had to, like, buckle down and, like, cover my head. I could not look out my window.
Right.
I know.
I was so scared.
No. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been that scared.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
I would have.
Did the lights
Not
just
do that.
Did the lights just burn out?
Like, they would come in and out.
Oh my gosh. So it was a wiring issue, probably.
Yeah. But I remember there was one stretch where they went out for a while, and I was like, oh, God, I can't do this.
Right.
I can't do this.
We're all
I'm, like,
gonna-
sitting in the back of the car.
We're all gonna die.
Saying the Lord's Prayer.
Right.
Lord.
Well, we're all traumatized, I guess.
Yeah. I can't think. I was driving, I think, out of Wyoming at one point. I was driving home from something, and nearly hit some deer. Like they just jumped out.
There was
in
a
front of my
point
car.
we were going out. We were driving through at sunset.
Yeah. And of course the deer were just there. So
Of course.
when I was coming back from Casper a couple weeks back, there was fog, like maybe 10 feet of visibility for like an hour and a half.
Oh no, I hate.
And I
fog.
was like, oh, okay, this is fun. This is different. It's been a while since I've experienced this. So yeah, we've all had our experiences, and I think you learn.
Yeah.
You learn
But
how
not
to
to do.
how to drive smart and intelligently with that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
I think the only way we were able to get out of this is I think we were able to finally get behind somebody.
who
Oh,
had-
so you
who-
could have the lights. Oh, that makes sense.
I think. And
Yeah.
just follow the
But then
red
I would have been
lights.
afraid to hit them. Like,
right. Yeah.
Honestly, that was kind of our thing with the blizzard. If we could get behind a really big truck, it'd
Yes.
shield us a little bit from the snow.
totally.
Yep. Good stuff. Good times. Delightful. All right. When we come back, we are going to go into is this your favorite movie or is this one of your favorites?
It was one of my favorites. I still love it.
Okay. As it changed.
After watching it this time. It's not necessarily. It used to be my top two.
And I think we're going to agree on some of those things. It's going to be very interesting to see how this discussion goes.
Yeah.
So coming up next, Nerds by Screenlight takes on Just Married, Ashton Kutcher and the beloved Brittany Murphy.
Yes.
Coming up next here on the program. Stick with us.
Talk nerdy to me. Get nerdy with me. All I really need for you to do is just please
I get so.
talk to me. Talk nerdy to me.
All right. Welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
I'm Vicki.
I'm Zoe.
And I'm Phil.
Okay. So Just Married is Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy. And
So Ashton Kutcher was nominated for both Best Actor and Worst Actor.
What?
for this movie.
So you guys haven't seen this movie.
this is my
No,
first
this is
time.
our first time.
Yep.
Oh,
Ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
nice.
Yep.
So wait, he was nominated for both.
Yep.
Best and worst.
I can see it.
All right, so let's begin as we always do at the beginning.
Wait,
is
really?
at
It's the end.
Okay, so here's the thing about this movie, right? This movie, it's weird. Like it starts out with these like weird flashbacks, and then it just leans into the flashback, and when we get back to it at the end, it's this weird structure. And I don't, because there's certain TV shows that'll do this, where they'll start the episode with a flashback, and then they'll work their way backwards and stuff like that. And when a movie does it, it's either lean in or don't. And this movie can't seem to make up its mind. It's like, okay, we're going to start with this.
It starts off with them running out of an airport, both
Right.
Brittany, Todd, and Sarah.
Yeah.
And they're beating the crap out of each other the whole time.
Yeah, they do. There is no
Yes.
love lost here.
She is throwing gum in his hair.
Oh man.
He shoves a what is it called, a luggage cart into her.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Coffee all over her.
He didn't do that.
Well, he pushed her into.
She ran into somebody.
He pushed her into somebody. And
I
then
mean, that could burn you like legitimately. I know somebody that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And where it happened, like on her chest too, like
Yeah.
Like exposed skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
degree.
Yep.
Oh.
But then they go to leave, and she needs a ride. So she's like, I need you to take me to my house. And then he's like, move, or I'm going to run you over, basically.
She puts her hand on his hips like, are you? Really?
And so we see that, like, she has a tendency of getting her way because she gets in the car. He
Yep.
finally lets her in.
Yep.
And they pull off, and it says "Just Married" on the back.
And so there's your title card, of course.
There's your title card, and then the rest of the movie is, how did we get here?
So yeah, so she drives him home. She drives her home, and drops her off like
She's like living in Bel Air or
Yeah.
something, like
yeah.
mansion, gate.
Yeah, she's living. Her family is rich. Obviously, we don't know how rich until we get down the road with the film. And then he drops her off,
And then he knocks over
and
all
all the plants, all
It's
the
aiming for them.
yeah, just
Clearly.
dish, 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 dish.
And I love how she's like, "Don't ask." And I'm like, "But all the
What? So then she gets in the house with her sister, and she's like, "Is mom or dad home?" No, they're still on their trip or whatever, doing things. And so there's this weird kind of where she just. I'm just gonna call her Brittany Murphy because I can't remember her character's name. She sits
Sarah,
on
I
the thing.
think.
She sits.
You can call her Pee Wee.
No, Sarah. Because if we start doing nicknames, we can't say the mom's nickname. It'll get
Fair.
it. We won't be able to do that. So she sits on the stairs and looks up at her sister, and there's this teary moment. And then we're back with Ashton, and where he's going home to hang out with his friend Kyle, who I
We're all
did.
passed out.
Who's
with the sandwich and
Yeah.
the mustard.
Yeah, he's
You would think he was dead if he wasn't snoring, honestly.
Right, he's
with
like,
how
"Wait,
she's-
hey, I'm home. Wake up!" And he pushes him, and he just doesn't wake up for
Him
nothing.
falling asleep on the couch holding the mustard bottle sent me.
Yeah. So far in this movie, I'm appreciating the humor, right? I'm like, okay, this is funny. It's incidental. There's some physical slapstick. Great. Good start so far.
Yeah.
And then he goes to work.
And then he goes through. So yeah, okay. So here's a couple things. First of all, so I've watched CinemaSins, the YouTube channel, a lot. And one of the critiques he always levels at movies is when he goes into a character's room and there's 16 lamps. He has 7 lamps,
So
all of them on.
So I would like to take a moment to play devil's advocate. Everyone, look, how many lamps are in this basement?
Vicky's just calling you out, bro.
But they're not all on. And they're not ever all on. So the
It's
most
close.
lamps that we will have is the 2 overheads and the one in the corner by my computer. That's it. His bedroom has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're all turned on.
I
pretty
didn't
close
notice
with
this
you.
at all.
I
See, this is
didn't,
one of those things.
I didn't notice it either, but at the same time, I am one of those people who will have every light in the house on.
He will, and
Even the ones upstairs, I'm not upstairs.
Okay.
it annoys me.
I hope you guys can hear the thunder.
Yeah, it's
It's
thunder.
some great ambiance.
We'll see if the mics pick them up. But yeah, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning. It's making its way. We're in the middle of the intense situation now, where we're at in Fort Morgan. It'll pass through pretty quickly. So
he is a nighttime traffic stop.
He's got
dude,
the graveyard
every other
shift.
week.
traffic
the
radio
guy
when the
calls
guy's
out.
sick. Yeah. So so this is 2003. So clearly we're in a different socioeconomic situation,
Yeah.
different economy, because there is no way in 2025 a dude working as a part-time radio DJ in the overnight hour who could afford this apartment.
Yeah, because His apartment may be like dirty, but it's a nice.
It is.
Yeah, and it's in
bad.
California, so
Yeah.
it's definitely expensive.
Yeah, it's nice. So yeah, he's, but the answering machine gives us some clues, and he smashes it.
And this is when we start to get a hint of his anger issues.
Yeah, just a hint of it. And then we go flashback to
Where
their,
when he first meets her
yep, he first
this
meets.
poor girl, man.
on the beach. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Don't
you're
talk
good.
about
Fine.
it.
I
Perfect.
love this movie.
It goes so fast. It's hard for me to remember the actual this
Well,
happened and this
good
happened.
good for you. I actually took notes this time, so we have
Oh,
from
he has notes.
start to finish.
I don't
we
know.
got it. So yeah, the football scene it's on a beach, right?
Yeah.
So he's playing football with his buddies, and he's like, "Go along," and he throws it, and he's like, "Oh, football, football!" And we see Brittany Murphy with her dog, and and she turns and boom, just clocks her in the face, knocks her down.
For how many times she gets hit in the face or the head in this movie? is
Concussion protocols are probably necessary for this character at this point.
That's
Yeah.
not a good meet cute. Well, he gave me a concussion. That's how we met.
Right.
Really? Perfect. That's exactly how it happened.
Not a great start.
But I think that's kind of what she likes, like the spontaneity of that,
Yeah.
because she's used to this.
Her
very-
whole life is planned out for her.
Yeah.
And then it literally jumps to and then we moved in with each other a month later.
Yeah, so he's on the
And
radio.
the dog.
Well, so here's the thing. So she recognizes, he's like, "Oh, what? Oh, yeah, I'm the guy." And he's like, "Oh, you told me
It's the
about the
best.
traffic that one
And
night."
you were wrong. And this and he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. You weren't very nice."
yeah, you called me a blockhead or something.
And I gotta say, it was at this point in the movie where I look at Zoe and I'm like, it's coming back. my crush is coming back.
Yep.
I love her.
She's
So-
fantastic in this film.
Brittany Murphy, from start to finish in this movie, she is an actress. She's an absolute powerhouse of an actress. There is no question in my mind that she is talented, and she can act her way through it.
Yep.
Not the whole movie.
Not the whole movie.
Not the whole movie.
Okay.
That we'll get to it later, but there's one time where she's ugly crying, but it's not really believable.
No, but that's what makes it hilarious,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is genius.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, her facial expressions, the way that she can
Yeah.
get her eyes, it's like her eyes are props.
She can instantly cry too, which is just like,
Well, she has a way of being able to look at engage the camera. The other thing is that her chemistry with Ashton Kutcher is solid.
oh,
so
it's
trivia:
amazing.
they were a couple when they made this film.
Oh, they had to be, because I mean,
Yeah.
Especially at the very end. Mm-hmm. They were kissing. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have chemistry. I think she has more chemistry than he does, but that's just her ability again to act and to be able to exude that. So she is a gopher at Sotheby's, which is an auction house, and he's like, "Oh, your last name is? You would be the daughter of this guy who owns the Lakers and the other things." And she kind of and he says, "I'll take that as a yes." And so now we know she's loaded and she's got more money than God. And he's broke and trying to find his way, which sets us up for a whole bunch of shenanigans.
and he's
later.
obsessed with sports, so that's like an
Oh,
in, right?
At an unhealthy level.
Yes, a very unhealthy level.
Yeah.
He needs to go to therapy. That's my main.
Yep.
He's addicted to sports.
We would
And he has
have
anger issues.
we would have put him in counselor's corner minutes ago if we thought it would do him any good.
He'll never change. No, I'm just kidding.
Zoe's just like, "Oh boy, yeah, you're my client, baby. Let's work on you. I got at least 8 weeks to work. I think at least 8 weeks of work out of you. 8 weeks.
Oh,
of,
probably more.
yeah.
It's just like, this is gonna take long.
That's
Yeah, that's gonna take a
just
while.
that's just the opening.
Yeah.
we got a lot of work. Okay. Daddy's blah blah. I made a note here. I said Brittany Murphy is a national treasure.
Yeah.
She's absolutely brilliant. She's in a bunch. We actually probably should make a goal of watching some of her other movies. There's the movie Uptown Girl.
That's the one I was gonna say. That's my favorite movie.
I've watched the trailer for that movie, and I've watched some of the clips, and I'm like, because it's Dakota Fanning, right?
yes, when she was
Little girl, but she was a beast of an actress.
Oh
then.
yeah, for sure.
And putting those two together in a movie, because Brittany Murphy plays she plays almost an Ashton Kutcher character in Uptown Girl. So we're probably I'm gonna call it now. We're probably gonna watch that one next.
Oh, it's
The only thing I won't watch is her final movie.
Which is
That makes sense.
yeah. What was it?
It's the one where she kills herself.
Oh yeah, and they had
Like
to edit.
they had her in a bathtub on the cover. Of
Yeah, on the trailer and
and
the
I
poster.
refused to watch it. So
Is
I,
it like
That
a
makes
horror
sense.
movie?
I don't know. The movie made me so angry.
Yeah, I remember
I
that
will never
that
watch
conversation.
it.
That conversation came out. I think it was on Twitter at that point when it was Twitter, and it was like the movie poster came out, and people were like, "Excuse me, what are you doing?"
Yeah, that's.
So they changed it. I think they edited it. But yeah, it's I don't think I've watched trailers for it either. But apparently
I want nothing to do with
it's
it.
pretty intense, I guess.
They did change it, the cover, I believe. But
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's and it's hard when you have somebody an actress that dies the way she did. Like, it's very similar to
Yeah.
Well, this was the movie that made me appreciate like
Yeah.
a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
My mom told me I should watch it because she was in it.
Yeah,
And then I realized that it's a romantic comedy designed for dudes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In that way, it is. Which also explains Ashton Kutcher's character and just how absolutely. I do not like him at any point. in this movie.
Obviously.
I hate him. There is no redemption. He doesn't redeem himself. Anyway, we'll get to that point.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. They go to the house.
The dog.
The
Oh, the
Doggy.
poor doggy.
so
She got a very expensive. What was it? Like a little, not a pit bull, but like a bulldog.
yeah.
Is he like a French bulldog or something?
Yeah.
I don't know dog.
Basically, one of them
Right.
YouTuber dogs.
So I've got trivia here. So to get the dog to pull on the pant leg, a small pouch filled with some cooked meat was taped to Ashton Kutcher's ankle under his pants.
That's lovely.
Which is it's not that's very,
That explains why.
Well, he kept pulling on it.
it's very aggressive.
So
No
here's where the first moment of Ashton Kutcher's stupidity and absolute awfulness begins. So he's reading a magazine or a comic book. He's
About
like,
sports.
let me read, blah, blah, blah. And then so he's like, oh, picks up the ball, tosses it over his shoulder, does not look where the ball is going. Ball bounces, goes through an open window, and the dog jumps out the window. And what lie does he tell her about what happened?
With the pigeon.
The pigeon is chasing pigeons. You know how aggressive it can
But like, she even knew he was lying at that point.
Squawky.
And she's like, you always flare your nostrils when you lie. You're flaring them now. But he like, what happened? They said they loved each other and he proposed.
Oh, it
and
was
so
just a
he
little
forgot about it.
gaslighting
She's like,
No,
moment.
she's the one that goes, I want to marry you.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I want to marry you too.
And then
Then they're off to the parents.
over my dead dog. Like,
Over my tits.
I can't believe that. That
Yeah.
is There's a lot of things in this movie that
Right.
are just no.
Okay. I
not
know they
gonna
don't tell us
happen.
exactly what their age is, but like the whole premise of this is like everyone tells them they're too young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're young and dumb anyway.
Yeah, so we find out later on. So they move in with each
Together
other
for 9 months.
A month after.
Oh, yeah,
They move
month.
in together a month after meeting.
Get engaged.
And then get engaged. Then 9 months later, they're getting married.
So this is the point where I looked at Aaron and I was like, oh, we only dated 10 months before we. He
But we were
proposed.
not that young.
True, we were in our mid-30s, early
mid-30s.
30s.
Like this was not our first rodeo. Like it's like
Oh,
okay,
yeah. Like you know what you want. and,
Right.
Yeah,
like,
but I remember like my sister was like, "This is." She told me later that she was really concerned, and then she met you, and she was like, "Oh, never mind, this is fine."
yeah. There's no alternative motives here. It's just okay.
But it was weird to hear that and be like, "Oh, that's like us a little bit."
And then we meet the family.
oh
Her
my
family.
gosh, the dad.
Oh no, the racials.
Yes.
So if you're wondering, so this movie was made in 2003. I was kind of taken aback. So in the interest of context, he says, well, he's not Catholic. He's and he calls him. It's I think it's a Polish pejorative.
Yeah, and I looked in
I
the
can
trivia.
say I am
He's
Polish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it is not a friendly term of endearment to
No.
the Polish.
Yeah.
It is an absolute racial slur. It's a pejorative. It's not nice. It's not cute. It's ugly. And it is equal parts fascinating and equal parts mind-blowing that in 2003, we're doing that. Like if it was 1999, 98, okay, cool. I get it. You're trying to be edgy. But we're talking 2003.
I think it says a lot about society because people don't necessarily think of Polish people as a.
Right.
They just think we're white.
Right.
That's all. They don't realize
Right.
that, no, we were there with the Jews.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
when-
Poland was numero uno on the list of the
Yeah.
invasion. Like,
And actually, in the trivia, it says that his character is half Lutheran, half Jewish.
yeah,
What's funny is
The dad?
I grew
No,
up.
Ashton
Tom.
Kutcher's character.
Yeah.
I grew up Lutheran,
Yeah,
so good on the movie for.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and then he's all like, "Why do bad things happen to good people?" And then he like uses
Yeah,
that
he uses,
term.
yeah.
And I'm like, "Jeez."
Yeah, no, Dad's. You don't like Dad.
And he's talking to a priest.
Priest, and the priest is laughing about it. That's like,
Oh, so this is when they're playing football again.
Yeah, the flag football.
yeah,
And then he like turns him over right on his back, and then he goes, "Ha!" His dad is all like happy about it.
Well,
Right.
because okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we got to talk about Peter now.
Oh, stupid Peter. And no offense, but I feel like this actor always plays the same character.
yeah.
And I just don't like him.
You love to hate him because
Yeah.
he's just despicable and
Kind of slimy.
Yeah.
Not kinda. He's full
He's
on
very
slime ball.
slimy.
He's a slime ball. This dude.
But to be fair, he's not really a bad guy until the end. Like,
Okay, so here's the
I didn't
argument,
hate
though.
him until he told the guy behind the desk, "Hey, keep tabs on
Yeah.
her.
Here's the thing.
Follow her around."
Here's
And
the
I was
thing.
like, "No, we're done."
This is the point I'm going to make, and this is me just trying to be. The word's not fair to this character because you don't want to be fair to him. I want to take him out back and like shake him a little bit, like, "You are an absolute idiot. Please never come back and get out of my life." Like, to the moon. Like, send him to the moon or send him into the sun. I don't care. Get rid of him.
Catch me outside.
Yeah, catch me outside. How about that? Catch these hands.
and if he,
Yeah. So here's the thing: the fact that he is bad, like does bad things towards the end, I think that's not a new character element for him. He's always been bad. He just hasn't been given the ability or the space to be bad. Because so 9 months ago, this girl that he was probably pining for and Dad was trying to set him up with suddenly meets this dude on a beach. And so now this guy has to like play by the rules ish, because you'll notice it's mostly Dad that pushes Peter, that wants Peter in this. Mom
Yeah.
is like all about, okay, hey, let's support them, let's be about them. The brothers are
She's trying.
The mom's trying. Like, I think because she genuinely cares.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of the family members in this family, Mom is the most redeeming.
Yes. The
'Cause even-
sister's okay, but
Yeah, that's all right.
But the brothers are just terrible. They're
yeah.
not nice at all. But again, they're being protective of their baby sister. Like, I can at least understand and
Oh,
like
totally.
figure that out.
Right.
But Dad, not a nice man. And I think he truly does want Peter to be the one. And the fact that he was working a business deal with his dad, with her dad, and all that, that tells you that they were trying to get them together. And of course, now Ashton Kutcher's character has totally destroyed that with his moving in on his daughter's life and everything else.
well, because shortly after this, Dad walks into her and is like, "Marriage is like a business deal."
Yeah.
He's like, basically, like, it's
Like,
not
keep-
about love.
Like,
Right.
keep
it's
emotion
like,
out of it. And I'm like,
And then he's
oh, I love that because Ashton's in the room and
Right.
he's like,
his little toes are wiggling.
and then he sees him and says, "Okay, whatever his name, I can't remember." His
that
name.
Prozac.
actually made me think, because before Mom was in there talking to her and she was just explaining how much she loved Tom and why, then she says this remark of, "I'm jealous."
Yeah.
So when Dad said that, I was like, "Oh, that poor woman. What their marriage must be like."
Yeah, must have been and must be like.
Yeah.
Because we don't get a lot of mythology on Mom and her story, and you have to wonder, was she seduced by the money? Was she kind of, oh, he's rich, he's handsome, oh, he'll be nice,
Or was this just like, this is as good as it gets?
right?
You know,
am I
it's so
settling?
sad.
Is this the
Yeah.
only one that I can get? Again, deeper counselor corner questions of like, what are we?
So many people need therapy in this
What?
movie.
all of them.
Yeah, put him in, start him, get him in line. Zoe's got to have a full
Sign 'em
month.
up.
Sign him up. Let's do it. Well, Dad could probably pay for it several times over.
Oh,
So hey,
yeah,
there we go.
for
Problem
sure.
solved.
But he needs to be in that office
Yeah,
too.
he's
Yeah.
first on the list.
Like, are you a narcissist?
It'd be like family therapy, like all of them in one room. Oh God, I don't know if I could handle that though. That's like a lot.
So part of the conversation between her and him is like, she's like, I love not knowing. Like, there's the element of her just kind of, I love the unpredictability and I love how things are just kind of blah.
Yeah.
Which is obviously foreshadowing for the rest of this movie, because all hell is about to break loose upon us.
You're gonna eat your words, girl.
Oh.
There's such thing as too much spontaneity.
Yeah.
So then the sister and her are talking about Peter, because we're now at the wedding, I
Yeah.
think, correct?
At the wedding, yeah.
So Peter's friend, no, not Peter's friend, good Lord.
I
We'll get to him.
love how like Kyle
Yeah.
Todd's best man.
Yeah.
It's the only person there that's there for Todd.
Right.
And he's like trying to talk him out of like
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
married.
She's gonna jump ship eventually. Like, you got to watch out.
He's like, you're the worst best man.
Yeah.
Yeah, accurate.
He really is.
Well, and what Kyle does is he plants the seed in Ashton's mind of, well, you know, that you didn't tell her you killed her dog, you know, and that Peter thing, like,
You didn't ask her again? You only asked her the one time?
Yeah,
Like-
and we get a flashback to that of where, you know, and you can see in Brittany Murphy's excellent acting that she just is wanting, there's a secret. She's not being
feels
honest.
And I
bad.
love that it cuts to her and she's talking to her sister.
Yeah.
And she immediately admits to
Having
hooking up
with
with
Peter. And we find out
Found out
here
later.
and then later that it was within as the relationship was
like
starting.
right after
Yeah.
they met.
Yeah.
Could be worse, but could be better.
It
Yeah.
isn't good any which way. It's just
Yeah.
this movie is not. It's not clean, in many senses of the word. But it's also like. So last week, obviously, I talked about how movies having rough edges make you uncomfortable. That's funny. I don't know about this one because this crosses a couple lines where it's no longer funny. It's like there's a deeper dysfunction in every one of these characters. It's not like a lighthearted, like, oh, before I went on a date with you, you know, I had to find out, so I went out with Peter and had a fling, and then the next day I went on a date with you, and I knew that's who I wanted. If that's how the story had gone, yeah, Ashton's character would have still been jealous and would have been like, "Oh, you still had to find out."
But they could have moved past it, I think.
It could have been a moment of like, okay, Brittany Murphy's character is at least there's some redemption there. Like, she's not actively cheating on him, like she does, like the way that they wrote it.
Right.
And I don't
But
know.
her whole thing is like, I don't want to live a lie.
Yeah.
And she repeats that multiple times through the movie.
Yeah.
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 And when here she is,
right, living that lie.
technically living the first lie.
Yeah.
'cause-
She wasn't honest.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Before you go,
Okay.
the reason why is she's afraid of his reaction because he's jealous. And that's
Yeah.
where I want
And
to
he's got anger issues.
and I want to swing into counselor's lane because there's like, and Zoe, you can probably attest to this. If someone was to come into your office and you're like, okay, hey, what's going on? Well, you know, I've got a secret from my boyfriend. I'm always really afraid to tell him because he's jealous and he gets angry. And you're probably going to be asking some questions. What kind of flags does that send to you?
Well, what I can't say to them, but my immediate reaction is
Right.
you need to leave them. But
Right.
I can't tell them that
Right.
we got to get there.
Right,
They
we-
got to get there.
Right, you gotta
'cause
build
they're
that
not gonna be-
bridge.
They're not going to hear it. They're not going to be ready to do that.
You got to have them build the bridge of like, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that look like?
I'd probably be like, so what do you think red flags are like in a relationship?
And then
Tell
you're
me
like,
some of those.
you pull one off the wall. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
So when you say something, I'm gonna wave it real good.
Remember this one.
Remember this one.
Picturing Aaron as a counselor.
If I'm
It would
waving
be
this,
kind of funny.
if I'm waving this a lot,
I know it's like a SNL skit.
or
Aaron
like
as a
have
counselor.
like a whiteboard where you like red flag, green flag, and you make a mark every time they say something, and be like, so let's look at the numbers. Take out like a calculator. Doot, 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 doot. Yeah, we've got 99 red flags and one green one. What does that tell you?
The irony and what's really funny about humans is
Yeah.
that they would probably identify like anger issues
Yeah.
and stuff, and then it's like, hello, like
Yeah.
you're living it, so why aren't
Yeah.
you applying that in your
Right.
life?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Zoe? You had something on you were gonna speak.
Oh, I'm moving on to the funny parts because I think this movie is hilarious. So,
All right. Well, where are we at? We
no,
are.
it's the same
We're at
part.
the wedding.
Okay, we're at the wedding. Okay.
So her sister's like, okay, so like if you change your mind, just pass out. I'll take care of it.
I love that the
I was
sister
like,
has an
I was
escape.
like, I never thought about that.
She has an escape plan.
Yeah.
And sister's done
not
her
a bad
work.
one, actually.
So, like, yeah, you're right. She's like, yeah, just pass out. I've got a plan.
Yeah.
We don't know what that plan is. Nothing is ever mentioned about this plan ever again. But we know sister's got a plan. You don't know who she's contracted with in the family, who she's got in the wings.
Yeah.
Because we don't see any other bridesmaids. We don't see any other men, maids of honor, or any of those things. We just see the two best man and the best woman. So, obviously, I don't think she's made a plan with. Actually, no. What if she made a plan with Kyle? And Kyle's
Oh my god.
What if that's the case? Here's your headcanon for the day.
The lore
Because
behind
Kyle,
Just Married.
Kyle is the one trying to talk him out of it.
That's true.
And so maybe her plan is, okay, she faints. Kyle and I, we're going to work this out. But those two are never seen together, except for like they're like in the car. They talk through the video screen. So maybe Kyle was her co-conspirator or one of her co-conspirators.
Maybe they should date.
Oh no!
I don't
Oh
know.
no! They would be in your office
Oh,
tomorrow.
they would kill each other.
Yeah, we need to talk to you about everything. You've only been together 24 hours. Yeah, we know.
We're already thinking about homicide.
We got a list.
Great.
Please help us. Oh my goodness.
I feel like our subtitles to this episode should be "Everyone needs therapy."
Everyone does need therapy.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So he makes the statement to Kyle, "I won," and then just died.
Adorbs.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is like pure Ashton Kutcher to me.
Here's the thing: he only plays one character.
He
in
does.
all of his movies.
He does.
And it's a lot like Will Ferrell. And I think my
I would never compare those.
they
two.
play the same character all the dang time in their comedies.
Yeah, but Will Ferrell's like a whole nother level of like. I agree with you about him. Like he's annoying.
Right.
Like I get that.
Yeah.
But
Well, no, yeah, Will Ferrell's worse.
Yeah.
I have a higher dislike. Sorry,
He
Will.
dressed up like Little Debbie on a talk show. It's a whole different level.
that's
of weird.
horrible. I can only imagine what that would.
You
look
don't
like.
want to see it.
Will
That's all
Will
enough.
Ferrell, not our favorite. Anyway, Ashton is in that neighborhood. He's not in the upper A neighborhood of the Will Ferrell madness. I say they do have chemistry. Of course they do, because obviously
They were dating at the time.
Yeah.
You got to remember, like I grew up on Punk'd with
Oh.
Ashton Kutcher. Like I
Okay.
loved that show.
Oh,
Whereas I look at him and I was like, he's married to Demi Moore.
Oh, see, I forgot about that.
yeah, he wasn't.
I didn't. It's weird to me still.
And so as an actor, Ashton Kutcher's history is not great. The moment of real awfulness is when his co-star from the 70s show was accused and then convicted of SA.
Yes.
Him and his co-star wrote a letter of support to for Danny Masterson, saying he's a good man, don't do this, don't do that. And then when the actual trial commenced and the evidence was presented and he was convicted, Ashton Kutcher had a moment of like, and him and a couple others were just like, oh no, we still believe in him. And then people were like, no, your buddy's an idiot. He's an absolute monster. He's awful. Why are you still supporting him? And they had to be like, well, we didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't really know the truth. It's like, everyone was telling you the truth, Ashton. They understood it. So that is also part of me. Like I'm seeing him and I'm going, this is what he knew. Like if you watched, anyway, we could go off on a tangent about him, but I'm not, because we're talking about Just Married. Sorry. Okay, where are we at? Okay, so
Where things start to fall apart.
yeah, so they get to a
already
hotel.
immediately.
They get to a hotel.
Well, the whole airplane is even in a whole nother level.
Well, no, this is
This
before.
is before
This
that.
is before. So
Oh, yeah,
they're at a
when-
hotel.
That's right.
Her
And-
dad paid for a really nice suite.
Yeah, so dad paid for the nice suite. They're hanging out.
He bangs her head
Again.
Yeah,
while carrying her.
a lot
over
of
the
physical
threshold.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I did chuckle as but I think that it keeps happening negates the power of the joke.
Well, I looked at Phil and I was like, you would do that. I'm like, you're probably gonna bang my head against the wall.
I ain't picking you up.
Wow. You're supposed to. It's tradition.
Aaron didn't pick me up for the record.
Yeah, no. I was like, no, we're not doing that. Probably because I was like, I would probably.
I think
Concussion.
you were nervous about that,
I would
and I was just
concussion.
like, "Well, it's not the end of the world." Like,
Hopefully
Okay.
not. Just swinging through the door. Boom. That was a brain tumor. Now I gotta go get that fixed.
brain tumor.
Brain aneurysm. Sorry.
Wow.
It got real dark.
Well, yeah, because like this, we're talking concussion protocol for this girl. Like multiple times in this movie, I'm like, no,
Went
she's
straight to cancer. Oh my gosh.
I meant aneurysm, but I went for brain tumor or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, this girl. Anyway, a lot of physical comedy.
Okay.
We went off the rails for a second. We're back on.
So she's
Having a meltdown.
she's tired and she wants to go to bed.
Yeah.
Which isn't a good sign on your
Right.
You're supposed to
wedding night.
consummate your marriage.
Right.
But they don't
Right.
at all through this whole movie.
Yeah.
But and then
Which is a sign.
so yeah, then she starts having a meltdown.
Yeah.
She's
Oh, my
like,
dad's gonna know
"My
that I'm
dad's
not a
gonna
virgin."
know it was
And he was
you.
like, "But you did. You haven't been a virgin since you're like senior year of high school." She's like, "I know, but they'll know." And I made a note. I said, "What is happening?"
Well, I'm like, how
This
would
is-
they know?
This is the scene of like the ugly crying I was
Yeah.
talking about.
Oh, but
Yeah.
it's great.
I mean,
thought it was
she
great.
legitimately, I believe she's having a meltdown.
Yeah.
She's having a
to
panic
the
attack.
point to the point she gets a nosebleed.
Yep.
You got to be a
And then-
girl.
And then he does
To know.
something I've never seen anyone do
Yeah.
for a nosebleed.
Right.
He like rolls something up and sticks it under her upper lip.
So, yeah, you put pressure there, it can stop the bleeding.
I was like, I've never noticed.
Yeah, I
or
noticed
seen
that, and I was like,
before.
"That's weird." I'm sure. I was like, "There's a reason."
Well, like
If I ever get a nosebleed again, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I'll let
Okay.
you know.
There
well,
we go.
Aaron is on blood thinners, so
Yeah.
you get nosebleeds.
Not as much anymore in the last couple of months, 6 months.
That's good. Is it, you think it's what do you think that is?
Probably drinking a lot more water, being
Yeah.
smart, all that good stuff.
I will say it is easier to get a nosebleed here in Colorado.
Yeah, it's
'cause
dry.
so dry.
Yeah.
Yep.
and
They're
dusty.
Okay, so the morning comes.
Wait, no, she hits her head again.
Oh.
what? When?
Yeah, because they're like cuddling, and then she like gets up and bams her head against his head.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
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 Don't
That-
worry, he
realize
gets
they're
his
about.
head
Yeah, it's like we
concussion.
only have an hour to get to
That's
the plane.
in the morning. That's when they both show up to the plane with their nose.
Oh, that's
yeah.
why.
Yeah,
they
because they
have
wake
their
up and they
nose.
smash into smash
I'm
heads into
just
each other.
like, guys,
Because
stop.
he's like, we got an hour until our plane leaves, and then she just jolts up.
So here's the thing about that. This is post 2001. This is like in the security heyday.
It
would have
I was
never
like,
gotten
you
There
would have
is
not made the
no
plane.
way that happens. And what I would have loved to have seen is some comedy about them getting and going through security. Actually, no, they at the end of
Losing
the movie
their
they do.
luggage.
Yeah, we're like, I would have appreciated some humor about that. I've been like, that's okay. Yeah, now it's funny, but they didn't. They just skip right through it. They end up on the plane together.
Shenanigans on the plane.
Yeah,
Fast forward.
They try to get in the restroom to do things.
Gets his foot stuck in the
No,
toilet.
her foot, isn't
Or
it?
her-
No, it's his
I think
foot.
it's his foot.
His
They're
foot.
both
His foot.
like trying to pull it out.
And then the
And she could
stewardess.
not possibly be any quieter.
Yeah,
She's just in there laughing, yelling.
Right.
And so the stewardess is like, "What's going on in here?"
Yeah.
Banging on.
and they're banging back.
And you can see like them, the both sides of the door, and they're just both banging on
Right.
the door on each other. And
And-
then until finally, wham!
And it hits the stewardess. She gets
Breaks
knocked
her
back.
nose.
Yep, breaks her nose.
Oh, and we didn't even say this bathroom was also like someone had made it very smelly. And they
Oh.
still went in there
Oh,
on
jeez.
top of
Oh,
everything.
good lord.
yeah.
Oh.
She's like, just breathe through your mouth as they kiss. How are you breathing through your mouth?
It's not romantic. Nope.
So many questions, so many concerns, so many red flags. I
Yeah.
suspect.
Oh, man.
So then, what? So we're at.
Then the car.
Oh my god!
They get their rental car.
Yeah.
Which was
Just
not
a
the car
lunchbox.
he wanted. A lunchbox. It's like what
Like
would I
Mr.
call
Bean's
it?
car.
It's like a clown car.
Yeah,
Literally.
clown car. Yeah. Yep, it is. It's not a nice vehicle. So,
Bright yellow.
yeah, bright yellow.
She's like, "It's okay, baby. Just floor it." He's like, "If
I-
I floor it any harder, we're going to be Flintstoning."
And then she
it."
starts making fun of him. This is where Aaron and I were arguing because in my head I'm like, you're gonna make him more mad if you keep mocking him. But Aaron was like, he deserves it.
So here, we're gonna take a slight detour into a parking lane off the highway for Aaron's. I don't know what we're calling it.
Rants with Aaron.
Aaron's arguments, I guess we're calling it. I do not like Ashton Kutcher's character.
Obviously.
He has anger issues. He has no ability to cope with anything that is going wrong.
Yeah.
He flies off at the flip of a switch. Dude is nearly like schizophrenic. Like it's almost manic. Like it is. And I guess. And here's the thing. So I'm 43 years old.
Yeah.
I look at this and I go, why was this funny? This is infuriating. Because I'm like, I would never in my wildest imaginations behave this way to a woman who I am newly married to.
I appreciate that about
Like,
you.
I think that's
very much.
because the reason why she does like the is because she's trying to find humor in it.
Yeah.
Because it's a terrible situation, and
You might as well laugh about it.
her and you've got to imagine in the 9 months or 10 now months they've known each other, he has to have figured out that she brings the humor. She brings the breaking the glass, like breaking the ice or whatever, trying to make things.
No, totally.
But he's like, he doesn't understand. He just amps. And that's the part that bothers me is that if this couple has had any sort of time, 9 months is still a long time to be together.
Totally.
You would have thought they would have figured out how to handle each other. She has. He hasn't. And that, I think, is the frustrating part. Because it's like, okay, if it had been a 3-month engagement, okay, more believable that they're losing their minds. But 9 months of living together, and this has never come up where he's flown off the handle at something inconvenient and something problematic that annoyed him and upset his day, I have a hard time believing that. And I know we're suspension of disbelief, but this is where my suspension of disbelief got checked. Because I was like, really?
Well, also like during the scene, the whole time he's like, "It's okay, baby. Just floor it." He's like, "If I floor it any harder, we're going to be Flintstoning it."
And then the stewardess.
they're not even using MapQuest at this
No,
time.
they're using
a map.
Yeah,
And
She's like, turn now.
turn now.
yeah,
See, and this is what gets me because, we have GPS on our phones,
right.
and our phones will talk to you,
Yeah.
and tell you turn and point to and
Yeah.
turn in 2 miles.
Well, so this is 2003, so no smartphones
right, no smartphones
and no GPS, and they probably wouldn't have sprung because now we're on his credit card. We're no longer on Dad's credit card,
Yeah.
so he's paying for everything, at least
But-
as far as we know.
There was actually a thing I was going to say
Go
about
ahead.
the GPS thing. Zoe still makes me read out what it says.
Yeah,
Like it'll say turn in 7 miles, and then she'll be asking like we'll go like 0.2 miles, and she's like, how long do I have?
Well, that's
I'm like-
mainly in Denver because you have to be in the right lane to get to wherever you need to go.
so I'm
Thankfully now it tells
Right.
you what lane.
right.
Yes.
So I've done that before with Vicki because she's my navigator, and she'll have the phone or we'll use it, whatever. And I'll ask her, be like, hey, how far we got? Just because I've had in the past, I've missed my turn because I wasn't listening or I wasn't looking or it wasn't alerting me.
I've gotten to where I will stop conversation if we're about to turn because we missed the turn.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Because I'm just like, I got to be able to focus, and that's how I am.
And there's a story with your parents where they were busy in conversation and they talked for over an hour and they realized they'd missed their turn.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
no.
they'd turn back around.
They were supposed to come visit us and they're like, we're sorry.
Yeah.
We got to talking.
Yeah.
We missed our turn. I'm like, I'm a little worried about you guys. But it happens.
It happens.
But they finally get to the hotel.
Yep.
Just
A castle
Yeah.
in France.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And he finds out that she can speak French.
Okay, trivia. Brittany Murphy did not speak French. She memorized her lines phonetically. I thought her French was pretty good.
It was really good.
I was really impressed.
She also speaks Italian in this movie.
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah, she does. She's like, what I love about this movie, how it treats her, is she's intelligent. Girl's smart. She
And
knows,
she treats these people well.
yeah, she
Oh,
has
yeah.
absolutely. She treats everyone nice. She's super kind. Again, the person you really fall in love with in this movie
Is her.
Is Brittany Murphy.
The thing is, one thing that I wonder is like, she talks to these people almost as if she knows them already.
Yeah.
And earlier on, we found out that she was on a backpacking
Oh,
trip
that's right.
with Peter through Europe.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, has she already been in these places?
No,
with
I
Peter?
think because they don't recognize
Aaron,
her.
you're the type of person you'll make
Yeah.
friends wherever you
so
go.
to kind of in response to that, when we go out to dinner or we go out to places, I literally when even when I get to the front counter or something, I'll be like, oh hello, and they're like, oh hello, what do you want? I was like, oh, how are you today? And I'll ask that question, and more often than not, I get kind of a startled look of like, oh, I'm doing all right. It's like, awesome, glad to hear it. And
Yeah, my mom has a saying for it. She says that you've never met a stranger.
yeah, and I will engage in conversation with people and ask them and treat them as if I've known them my entire life. Sometimes that ends up well, and sometimes I'm just like, why did I do this? I don't want to talk to this person. But 95% of the time, it ends up being okay. So I think it speaks to her character
Yeah.
and who she is as a human being, that she definitely understands people. It's because it's interesting. The rest of her family are a bunch of stuck-up snobs who love their money. She doesn't. She's kind of the odd one out. I don't want to say ugly duckling because she's far from ugly.
Black sheep, black sheep.
Yeah, I would say black sheep because she does the crazy stuff. She's out walking her dog on the beach and doing whatever and just living her life.
She's a free spirit.
Free spirit.
Well, she's an art major.
Which I
mean-
think this movie again does her character really well. So yeah, she's really nice.
So they're checking in, and the maitre d' is like, we have a gift for you.
Yeah,
And it's from
Peter.
Love Peter.
And they're both in agreement of this is not appropriate.
Yeah, and they give it to the guy. They're like,
Hey,
this
here
is
you go. It was perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect way to handle that.
and then
it goes downhill.
We can't necessarily say all the reasons why they get kicked out, but basically they set a fire.
They try to
tried to
plug
tell-
an electrical device into a plug that won't fit.
right. So
You-
in Europe, you have different plug-in. You have different
And it's a
amp-
whole different voltage system.
Yeah.
It's not enough just to get the converter. Like you have to.
and
check
there's
it.
adapters. And
Yes, there are.
There are adapters present in the
Oh.
room. So Ashton Kutcher's character is an absolute moron.
She tries to tell him.
And she's
does.
like,
I'll
"Hey,
make
no."
it fit.
And
I'm
he's
like,
"I'll
oh,
do
this
it,
is
I'll
gonna
do
go
it, I
bad.
gotta- I'm a man. I can do all things through. And ends up turning lighting a fire on the inside of the wall, shutting all the power in the entire castle.
Oh my god!
And it's
In
Europe, so
France.
everything's old and has a lot of history. And
Yeah.
like his grandfather or someone installed the electricity.
That maitre d' was.
He
I
was
don't blame
very
him.
unhappy.
I don't blame him. This is stupid.
And then what did he say? He said something about
Like you need to pay the
something
damages.
American, and then he called him, and then Ashton.
Oh, he called him a
was like,
frog.
Ashton's like, yeah, you French frog.
It's like, wow. So you didn't do your research about the voltage system, but you knew how to insult the French.
He's like, there is a sign right there, and he's like, this little thing is all in French. If you got people coming from all over the world, you need to have some American.
Oh.
And she goes,
Wow.
yeah. I think he means English.
Yeah, she's trying to like save the
He's
conversation,
trying so hard.
but he ends up sticking his foot so far in his mouth that they get thrown out of the hotel, and that he's going to charge his credit card for all of the damages, which
Now they're
then
broke.
now they have no money, and
And they're trying to find a new hotel.
Which they
there's
do.
none.
They do find one.
Eventually,
No, not that night. That's when they go into the snow.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Here
So
we
they start driving. They get through the rain. They go to one place. There's no room at the inn. And they're driving through the snow, and he's.
I love this too because this was a moment or like early, like when early in the movie when he takes her home.
Yeah.
She's like, keep the car on the road this time. Well, this is the foreshadow to this moment here.
Yeah.
Like he drives off the road into the snow, and they're just stuck.
Yep.
So that almost happened to us on our wedding night.
Yeah. So when we were going to our honeymoon, we were staying in a place in a small little mountain town, and the road up to the house was snow packed.
It was January.
And we didn't have a 4-wheel drive. We had a Jeep, but it was front-wheel drive Jeep or whatever. So we had to take a couple of attempts at it. We got up, and we were fine. But there was
It's a little close.
there
at
was
times.
some concern that we'd have to walk up the driveway to get to our
my
house. So we figured it out. But again, we had the patience
Yes.
and the wherewithal to make sure that we tried and tried again, and we were very careful. These people are not. And she gets mad at him and says, "Good night, good night."
Then they make up.
They make up.
Yeah, so this, to swing back into the lane of the counselor, do you agree with how many times she keeps going back and letting him gaslight her and take advantage of her in this way?
See, okay, Aaron.
I think
I can't wait for this.
See, I have a mindset of like they're young and dumb. To me, they're like probably 18 to 22 maybe. And
Okay.
looking at it through that lens, I can laugh.
Okay.
If they were older, like our 30 to 40,
Yeah.
there's a big problem. And no, she should
Right,
not keep
right.
going back to him. But I feel like they're still learning life.
She's
Also-
learning. He's learning nothing.
also like if you think about like Peter
Yeah.
and the other guy, like her family. I mean, they're whiter than a bowl of rice.
Yeah.
And just as tasteful.
Yeah.
And so for her to have someone like Ashton now,
Right.
she's probably attracted to that.
Right, because
Yeah,
he
it's
cares.
like-
different. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Difference is attractive.
He's
for sure.
yeah, and
Yep.
he's real-ish. But again, he's got a lie. We're gonna get to that
Well, see,
moment,
I remember only the funny parts, apparently.
right?
Okay, so to make it even worse, he pulls the steering wheel off.
Oh, we saw that coming.
And that's when they make up because they just start laughing at each other. Like,
Yeah.
it can't get any worse.
Yeah.
Like,
I love her, just the fact that she tries to laugh at everything. That's a really good way to handle life.
for sure. Now, my frustration is in the morning when suddenly the snow's just gone and they can get out the window.
Right.
But then the car goes down the cliff.
Yeah.
Well, car goes
They
down.
could have always gotten out, but wherever they were going to go
Right,
in the
yeah.
middle of the night.
Well, they made it seem like not because remember how they're like rolling down the window and the snow's like all the way
Yeah.
up and like.
Yeah.
It was still up. He just had to push it out.
He's not wrong.
No, it was like there was no snow. He just like gets out of the window.
Yeah, because it falls down a little bit, I guess.
I'm like, dude, this is like
There's a plot hole here that we just kind of like, all right, y'all movie, whatever you want to do.
that like upset.
So
me.
then they get out of the car, and he's like, blue car, and then throws a snowball at it.
Which I was like, they're going to think you're attacking them. They're not
And
gonna
she
think you're-
does because she backs up and hits their
Piss
car,
lady.
sends it flying down the mountain, and flips it off and then drives off. I'm like, well,
My question after that too was how did they get this car out?
well,
Right.
they had the
With whose money?
the tow
Guy.
truck comes and
But what He went down into this big ravine.
Yeah.
And like,
Another plot hole.
Super secret rescue squad.
There's a helicopter involved.
Yeah, there
It's
was
the name of the Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. Yeah, that's the
Lordy.
thing.
I love the truck driver, by the way.
Yes.
Because he's telling him like, oh, and he tries to warn them. Oh, well,
Yes.
there's this place. And he's like, well, and he's like, no, we got it. Again, Ashton's arrogance and his egotism in this movie
Yep.
is off the charts. And he never learns.
Well, I don't know. With this
Kind
argument,
of at the end. At the very end.
I feel like with this argument, they're kind of both playing their parents against each other. It's
Yeah.
like Ashton's like, well, my dad says this is a great place. Like, I'm going to listen to him. And she's like, but my dad will pay for this nice place
Yeah, yeah,
here. And da-da-da-da.
Well, I think it's his ego that he doesn't want. His pride
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to accept Dad's help.
Right.
And he's like, well, my dad, and I'm going to go with my dad. And it's like, really? Are you okay? Ashton has and it's like part of the question I wanted Brittany's character to ask is, how has this been working out with following your dad's whatever through this trip? It hasn't really turned out well, and it really doesn't.
No.
They end up at this place.
So it's on to the next hotel,
Yeah,
if you can call it that.
yeah,
Literally a hole
Like,
in the wall.
okay, so as soon as like they get into their room
yeah.
Clearly.
and they start dropping off their luggage, each
Things
time
start falling off.
Things
the,
start falling off the ceiling.
But they love it. They're
off
like
the
laughing.
walls.
yeah, they're appreciating the absurdity of it.
Oh, God.
Until
Until.
They smash through a wall into the neighbors.
Yeah, who are currently in bed preparing for an evening event.
And they're just like,
Yeah.
what?
So then we've cut to they've hung like a bed sheet over it, and you can hear noises of that activity through the wall, it's.
And then they try to start activities.
right.
And
that
there's
the
a
cockroach?
cockroach.
Oh, God. See, that was something I forgot about.
I don't do cockroach.
And then, like,
Nope.
the way that like she's freaking out, she's holding his hands down so he can't swat it away. And so she's just up there, like, trying to blow on it, like, and then, like, it's, oh, no. I would have pushed you off of me to get away from
I
that
know
thing.
you.
All right. So when they filmed this, apparently they lost the cockroach and they had to shut down production for 20 minutes to find it.
It was a real cockroach?
Yes.
So you can't, like,
Yes.
yeah, and even when it comes to cockroaches, you can't harm animals on set.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. But
I couldn't have. I was like, I need
I
to
would have
kill
harmed
it.
it.
It would
Yeah.
have been dead.
Oh no, yeah, cockroaches don't get to live.
You would have
me.
lost.
Or what
you-
is it, that raid?
Yeah. You would have lost your PETA.
See, I always got
endorsement.
like a really heavy book
Smart.
because we didn't have raid in our house for roaches. We just really heavy book.
All right, so now they're leaving that hotel, and they're at a nice hotel because Dad.
Yeah.
In
He
Venice.
finally swallowed his
and then
pride.
he's like, put Todd on the phone.
And Dad once again covers himself in glory and continues with the racial slurs and
no.
Calls him a cracker.
calls him.
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay, you dropped that one, then you dropped this one. And he says, you're going to pay me back every minute, like every bit of this. Yeah.
And that doesn't really fit either with the... Like, at least the other one kind of fit.
Right.
That doesn't fit for him.
I think Dad was just trying to be a jerk.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying
He's
to
just angry.
trying to get his digs in on Ashton's character.
But that's where I understand Ashton is like, he wanted to avoid that from happening
yeah,
as much as
he was like, I don't want to be a
Right.
part of this conversation. Yeah, no,
Can't you tell Daddy thank you from both of us?
yeah, just do that.
So we
Yeah.
get the, I want to say the bellhop guy here. So he's like asking for where's the TV because there's no TV in their room,
Yeah,
and he's like TV's in the bar. Like he just keeps repeating it over and over, and then he eventually like he looks at and he says like in Italian like if I was here with you I wouldn't need a TV. And it says it like right in front of Ashton, but Ashton doesn't know what he
Right.
says. But
He was speaking plain English.
no, he said that
In Italian.
In Italian.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but before that,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
he was telling him in English.
Well, I mean, like TV and bar. Like, what are you?
But
gonna
then
do
he,
about
but then
that?
he was like, if I was with you, I wouldn't need a TV to send it to
Yeah.
her. And so I think, does she even say that? I think she says, oh, he.
No,
said that-
she told him.
yeah,
what
she
he
said, yeah, he would have. He also said that if he had been with me, he wouldn't need a TV. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm okay with this. Yeah,
He needed to hear it.
Your man is not. It's not getting through his skull that this behavior, and it doesn't get any better. Because the next day,
I'm gonna say something here. Like, it's been a few days, a rough few days,
okay,
and he wants TV. He wants to watch sports.
right.
I can relate. But for me, it wouldn't be sports. I'd be like, "Where's my Nintendo Switch?"
Right.
Like, I need something because I'm stressing out right now.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, so they go and they go to, what was it, like a history?
Yeah, history museum.
Yeah.
She's an art history major.
Yeah, and she loves history. She is, and I think this movie doesn't make her out to be a nerd in the classical ways that we like, the tropes we would expect.
Up until now.
Well, even
It
then,
just seems like she's cultured to me.
but it's not like she's
Yeah.
not like, oh, look at these inventions. She's not like, doing the tropish nerd things. She's just, but I think this movie treats, for a movie that came out in 2003, it treats the leading lady and her nerdiness really well. And like gives her agency to be intelligent, to speak two languages fluently, to have the art history degree. She's a master's or bachelor's in art
I
history.
don't remember that part, but
She has a master.
Yeah.
She has art history major.
Yeah.
She knows her business. She knows her history. This movie gives this girl significant intelligence and agency, and doesn't do it in a tropish, let's just hammer the reader, the watcher over it. Like it, she's just like, oh, let's go. I'm explaining this, and
This makes me think of Ernest Hemingway and this thing, you know, that I know about him.
yeah. So he's getting messed up with the pigeons because
I don't really blame him. There's
do
a lot
you
of
have
pigeons.
any trivia on that scene? Because in my head, I'm like, there
No.
has to be a good story.
Oh well, okay. There's something I feel like I remember. Just that the pigeons were they were just there.
So he was just doing that like on his
I
own.
think so. Yeah.
and that
He
part,
did a lot of improv in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
that part of Venice, I think, obviously has it's the pigeons are a regular feature.
But
Yeah,
it just
I've heard
looks
that.
so like almost organized.
See,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have fun. I'm not
you
big
don't like
on.
pigeons.
Not that many in one place.
That's fair.
So anyway,
He somehow sniffs out the bar.
That was kind of funny.
He hears
He
the
hears
music.
the ESP.
He hears the
Dun, 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 and he figures it out, finds it, and so then he decides to. He's like, "I'll make it up to you. I'll make it up to you."
I have trivia.
Yep.
So apparently the song playing in the background at Cafe Americain is the Chase by a band called Kane. The lead singer of that band plays Peter in the movie.
What?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Great. Now he's in a band too.
So he goes into the bar to watch the TV.
And she runs into Peter.
Yep.
Yep. Who's trailing her around like a creeper.
Oh, I'm just here because there's a deal. I'm here to make a deal.
Like, yeah, funny because the reservation's under her dad's name. I wonder.
Yeah.
Okay. Just playing a little devil's advocate. Why did she go out of her way? Because she was kind of far away. She saw him, and she went
Right.
out of her way to go up to him and be like, "Why
Yeah.
are you here?"
I think first, I think it gives her agency, and I'll explain why. So the first thing, obviously, he sent a bottle of bourbon or whatever it was,
Cognac.
to her hotel saying "Love Peter." So he is on her radar, and she knows that her husband is jealous, and there's history with Peter that she knows, but Ashton doesn't, and so she's probably going, I need to get out ahead of this, whatever this is.
Yeah.
Again, in her mind, going, okay, this is once was a coincidence, twice. Okay, something's up. So she's gonna figure it out and get after him and be like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm here to do a business deal." And she just kind of goes, "Oh, okay."
And she's like, the cognac was inappropriate. You shouldn't have
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah. And so then she says, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go do this or whatever." And then Peter turns to the maitre d' and says, "Tell me everywhere she goes."
I was done with him at that point. That was, to
I'm
me, the
like-
point of no return.
That's stalking.
Yep.
That's harassment, and that is engaging someone else into your schemes. No.
Yeah.
Sorry. No.
Another
If I
country.
found out anybody was doing that to me, I would immediately call the police. It's so
That's
creepy.
fair.
Be like, I'm being stalked.
So
They go back to the. She goes back to they end up meeting back at the hotel.
Yeah,
Yep.
because he
And
comes
she
back.
brings up hey, have you ever done something that you haven't told me
Right.
about?
and she
This
was
whole thing pisses
she
me
was ready to tell the story
Yeah.
of Peter, and he goes, "Well, what did Kyle tell you?"
Todd to shut up. Shh.
Yeah. And she goes, no, what did you... And so he then...
He admits to killing her dog.
Yep. And she loses her mind.
And tries to leave.
And he prevents her.
Which I'm like, okay. I don't agree with him stopping her the way he did.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with her with how she handled it.
Yeah, it was all
either.
toxic for sure.
Like
Yeah.
it's just ew. Like
Yeah.
If you have something to say, then say it.
Yeah, don't dance around.
Yeah.
Just head straight into it. Just have the conversation.
like I'm not here to tell you which lie you guys are hiding is worse than
Right.
the other, but
Because now you can blame
Get it
him
out.
or whatever, and
Yeah.
get it out in the open. You guys should have done this before you got married, and you
Right.
wouldn't be doing this right now.
Right. But movies got a movie. We got to have this critical piece that unfolds in this moment because then that moment sends both of our characters off into different directions.
Which same directions we just were.
Yep, sends
She
him-
goes back to the museum.
Yep. He goes to the
back to the bar.
Yep.
Nino, Nino, Nino.
and they both find a person.
Yeah. So she is kind of like I don't blame her in the situation because it's pretty innocuous. Oh, come hang out with me. Come hang out with my friend. The thing is, if he had said, oh, come hang out with me, and it went to like a place where he was alone with her, okay, nope, we're done. Get me out of here. But he takes her to a place where one of his friends is at. They spend the
And
after-
it's a place that she absolutely loves.
yeah, and he's giving her the history. This old man is speaking to her and speaking truths to her about relationships.
He's like,
Yeah.
the beginning is the hardest.
Yeah. And you get through it, and so she's like, "Thank you. That's very smart. Thank you." And Peter's over there being like, "Stop talking about this."
Yeah.
Stop talking.
And
Trying to get her drunk.
yeah, and so I don't blame her for that. I don't blame what she does because she keeps her boundaries, and even when he tries to kiss her at the end, she pushes him and slaps him and says, "I'm married." So what I appreciate about this movie is it gives her the strength and puts her in a position of where she can say, no, I didn't lean into the kiss. I didn't want it. I slapped him. I wanted no part of that. And at that point, as a guy, you're like, yeah, I saw that. And yeah, you're right. You didn't, there wasn't. Here's the problem. Ashton has none of that because at the bar, he knows he's getting hit on. He has to know.
Yeah. She is weird, though.
She is very
She's like, he says something like, go back to the hotel. He's just like, which hotel are you at?
And at
Which one are you at?
and when he that's catfishing.
I thought she was about to rob him.
Right, and that's
Right?
what Vicki said. She was like, I think, because we were getting to that scene where they were in the room, and I was like, I don't want to watch this stupidity, because it would be anyway. So she was like,
It's
oh, he's
just
gonna
bad timing all over.
Yeah.
What people see each other do and
Yeah.
don't see. And
But here's the thing: his foolishness is that he tells her where he goes. She's like, oh, I live at that hotel too, or I'm staying at the hotel too. No, you don't. But he goes along with it. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. Woo.
well, at first he tries sneaking out,
Yeah, he sneaks
Yeah,
out.
he escapes her
Hilarious.
once.
but then he sees. Oh, he goes and talks to the maitre d'.
Yeah,
and the maitre d'.
Where he has to pay to get information
Right.
about his wife.
like-
every sentence.
Yep. And he says, oh, you'll never see her. You can't go there. And he's like, well, I'll
They'll
just...
shoot you on the spot.
Yeah. I was like, oh, my God. So he goes back to the bar, and there she is again. And because they end up at a party, and he sneaks out the party, I think.
No, that was the same bar.
It was just they had.
He
the
went
dance
back to
floor.
the same bar, which
okay.
is so stupid.
Yeah, went back to the American bar, and she sneaks out. Oh, I couldn't find you, and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when the whole situation. Oh, what hotel are you? Oh, that's my hotel. This is
And
dumb.
so she he gets to his room. He opens the door. She just jumps him.
Like pushes him in there and
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, he didn't initiate anything. He even tells her I'm married. And
At
she-
the end, but as she's starting to seduce and do
Undress
things,
and
and
stuff,
he's like, I'm married. You have to say that before. Like when she
Yeah.
busts down that door, you say, I'm out, and run into the hallway. Be like, ma'am, you need to leave my room. I'm calling security. This is inappropriate. I do not want this.
Well, you tell her that at the
Okay,
bar.
okay.
Look,
Yeah, you don't even
Give him a little credit, man. Okay, he is wearing
No.
a ring. Like,
Yeah, girls
I mean, they're
always
all
check
wearing rings, and no one's looking.
Yeah,
I mean, and they're
girls-
obvious. They're like,
girls always check for that. We always check for that.
yeah.
This one
Always.
didn't. This one didn't. I don't think this one cared.
No, she did not.
She
care.
was
I don't
all
think.
about, oh yeah. So his failure.
Well, he didn't say he's married. He said he was on his honeymoon.
Yeah, I'm on my
And that's when she was like,
honeymoon.
ew.
And that's what grosses her out. Nothing else grossed her out. But it would have been if that had if I had again rational decision tells you if I let this woman, if I follow her where she's nothing good's gonna happen. I need to leave the space. I need to get out of this space. I feel like it's a statement on Ashton's character that he follows into the bed and just allows these things to happen. It's like, dude, what the? You are not any kind of man. You are a little mouse, and here's the thing. If when she had busted into the door and ran to the bed or whatever, if he had said, nope, stepped outside in the doorway and said, maitre d', somebody security, that would have been like, cool, character development. He's realizing this is not a good idea and he needs to stop. But because she could have then, because then security comes and escorts her out, but she leaves the bra there. And we're still allowed the story of, oh, what's this? Well, nothing happened. Who is this? Well, it's a girl from the bar. And that would still allow that storyline of that conflict and their argument to be there. But it would still give him a character development that he deserved, that he should have had. But he doesn't.
Well, so to get back to the
yes, please
the
take
canon,
us back.
The canon story. He gets her out. She leaves. He goes and sits like on the balcony.
Yeah,
and he sees Peter kiss Sarah.
Yeah,
Sarah did not kiss Peter.
Yeah,
but that's all he sees. He goes back inside, and while
she
he's
says,
inside,
"I'm on my honeymoon," and slaps him.
Yeah, and then she makes her way up to the hotel room. He's standing there in his little white boxers, by the way.
This is all my favorite.
And this scene, I kid you not, when I watched this as a kid, I rewound this scene like 15 times. Okay.
Oh, man.
She comes in, notices the brassiere on the floor. Who's this?
Right.
And then he's like, it's yours, of course. And then somehow she gets on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
Picks up a 10-pound ashtray.
And hits him with it.
Wham!
Now he gets hit in the head.
And I, as a kid, I rewound that 15 times.
My head is burning.
My skull is on fire.
So here's your trivia.
And then he
That
goes
was not
crazy.
a prop. He actually did get injured, and that was a real ashtray. Like a big old goose egg on his head.
Well, and then I feel like I was watching something that said that he did a lot of his own physical stuff. Like even when he fell out of the bathroom.
He did all his own stunts. Brittany had a stunt double, but he did all his own stunts.
He's like, yeah, I got a bruise here, and I almost broke this, and I was like, oh my god.
Well, and then in perfect timing, we get a knock on the door.
Oh, this is the best part.
Housekeeping.
And
no, room service.
Yeah, and it's Peter. And he's like, last chance, Sarah, you know. And then we got Ashton sitting there.
Hello, Peter.
Sitting in his underwear, holding a fire poker. Like,
get him.
I don't know. Maybe because I got hit in the head with an ashtray.
This begins one of the most insane, and I found this is where I did laugh. I did chuckle
hilarious.
because
I love how Peter's like, I've taken all these fighting lessons, and he runs.
Yeah, the cringy little taekwondo karate movie.
right.
And then he just takes off. It's like in Princess Bride.
Yes.
He goes against a guy and he just runs.
Yeah.
And he's like, welcome to the honeymoon of hell.
So then they call. He's chasing him around the main lobby. Call the police! Call the police! Policia! Chases him out to a boat.
And there's the police, basically.
And he breaks
Here
something.
fast.
He breaks the window of a boat.
And then they
Arrest him.
I thought it was the police car window.
It may have been the police car. Well, police boat.
Boat,
window.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Police
But
boat.
then they both get arrested. I'm like, why is she getting arrested?
Because she was just like, that's my husband or something.
Yeah.
Was it because just trying to interfere? They saw it as interfering.
Trying to help with the situation. So
They spend a
And
night
then-
in jail.
And
Yep.
Peter bails them out.
yeah.
Of course.
And she's like, I'm moving out.
Yep. She's had enough. And here's the thing. She has everything that's happened so far is evidence of this is a bad situation. This guy is bad for me. He has no anger management. He has no impulse control.
They should have just did.
They should have
when-
communicated.
When they got home, they should have been like, all right, let's separate for now, attend couples therapy.
Right.
Like, we'll move back in with each other later or something. But
Well, that's
right
something
now,
that I was talking to you about, Aaron, is that their period before they got engaged, the timeline matches ours.
Yeah.
But you and I separately on our own had our own went to therapy.
Yeah.
Not because like we were like, oh, you need to go to therapy. We just we did work on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that has been a big part of making our relationship successful.
Well, and dang, I was going to say something.
It'll come back around.
Yeah, it'll come back around. Continue.
So we get to the airport.
Yeah, now we're back at the beginning.
Now we're back at the beginning, and
There's stewardesses on that she's on this flight.
I love it. Like the door swings to reveal her. She's like, "I'll get to it when I can."
Oh, I love how she says that he's like carrying drugs in his rectum.
Oh yeah,
They get-
that's right.
They
I
get, the
forgot.
passport,
Oh,
they get the
yeah.
passport control, and they're like, "Was there anything you like?" She's like, "No, but my husband."
He's like, this is the first relations I've had this whole honeymoon, and it was with a guy named
Right.
something.
Sergio, and so he ends up like they play it up that his rear area was thoroughly examined for
2
drugs.
pounds.
2 pounds.
Which there's
My
no
man
way
came-
anyone could do that. I
My
don't
man
think.
came in looking like John Wayne in Old West. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just having to walk real
Put her
carefully,
there, cowboy.
sitting down, and ow, ow, ow.
And then they're like
Yeah.
trying not to touch each other because they're sitting right beside each other.
Right?
He's all like leaning over this person, talking like,
Yeah. And then they say, "Why don't you just shut up?" And then everyone applauds.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like, please.
Yeah. And so
So then he takes her
takes her home.
home.
and now
We're
we're
back
at
to
the
present
present.
day.
He's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
at the
Radio
work.
station.
Which I had a mismemory of this.
Okay.
I swore, like when I watched this as a kid, there was like a scene where like he was at work, and he's accidentally telling this story over the radio.
He did.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
But there was a scene where like someone called in and was like
Oh.
asking about it, and he was
Oh.
like talking to them. I don't know.
It might be a cutscene from TV.
Or the Mandela effect. You just remember it, but it didn't really happen.
or maybe there's like an unrated version.
I
or
don't know because
something.
now that you say that, now I'm remembering that.
There is an unrated version of this movie, I will tell you, because I remember seeing in like the 2003, 2004, like on shelves, like an unrated
Yeah.
Just Married. So there may be
Which is
addition-
weird that it goes from unrated to like this movie is PG-13.
Yeah.
And why would you need an unrated version? Because
Yeah.
the only thing they added into it, I'm not going to say, but it would have been rated R. So,
Fair.
but yeah, like I remembered that for something.
Okay, well, there you go. It may exist in the unrated version, which we did not watch, and I don't think
No.
we'll be able to review, even if we tried to.
I think I did watch the unrated version because I remember that too.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's a deep cut into the mythology of the Just Married movie not franchise. There's only just one franchise.
Let's
Well,
bring it back, but we can't.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that with almost any like early 2000 movie.
Yeah,
now.
they're all they all
Like
yeah.
I'll watch a movie and then I'll be like, I swear
Yeah,
there was a scene that was here and now
Yeah.
it's not.
There was a lot of unrated, like, oh, get the extras on this movie, and that was the motivation to buy the DVD or whatever back when we had physical media. Okay.
So he decides he's going to go get his girl back.
Well, no, he goes home, or he gets back home, or Kyle comes and says, "Oh, she came and picked up all her stuff."
Yeah.
And then he goes to Dad.
Oh yeah,
He's
which
out,
he
that's
only
right.
has one scene in this movie.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, that guy plays Raiden in the old original Mortal Kombat movie.
Probably. He looked familiar.
Yeah.
Very familiar.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up so you can figure out what's good.
So he has a car, and this is the part of them, like. So back to counselors.
Oh
Lane.
Lord.
The character doesn't actually. He says he's sorry later at the end of the movie with her, but at no point does he go, "Yeah, this is mostly my fault. I'm really sorry. I have no control. I need to get control. I don't want to be this way with you. I want to be the way that I need to be. I need to be a man about this. I need to be whatever phrasing, but nothing, none of that." And I would have hoped Dad would have been like, "Well, just because you're stupid anger, you dumb poop." Like,
What was
sorry,
What was
I had to
that?
censor myself. I didn't want to say the real
La 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 la.
dumb.
Sorry.
Trying to censor myself so I don't have to beat myself.
Okay.
Hey, For all the stuff in this movie, we have done very good.
We have.
We've managed. We've managed. Anyway,
and
so
that says a lot for me.
yeah, it does. I'm impressed. Thank you. Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Ah! Anyway, so I would have expected, because in a lot of these movies, you would have that moment where the character, like even the romantic comedies, the character would be like, "Oh man, I really did that. I really messed up. I need to own this. I need to be better." And I was hoping Dad was gonna be like, "Yeah, well, kid, you got a bit of an anger problem." And be like, "No, Dad, I don't." And Dad would be like, "Do you remember 3rd grade t-ball? Do you remember 5th grade football? 8th grade decathlon?" And every moment, like having like a replay of him, his anger getting the better of him on the sports field or whatever, and being like, and then Dad just staring him down and Ashton going, "Okay, yeah, I might have a problem." And Dad be like, "Yeah, you think?" And be like, "What are you going to do about it?" And he's like, "I got to make it up to her. Because he does say early in the movie that halfway point, he's like, "Okay, I'll make it up to you, make it up to you." And for him to actually mean it this time and to go, "Yeah, I screwed up, didn't I?" And Dad be like, "Yes, we all do, but here's the thing. Get yourself right. Own up to it. Apologize to her. Let her know how sorry you are and work on doing better." That would have been like, boom, movie redeemed, get on his way. And from that, if that had been in there and he had gone and apologized instead of the invective that he's hurling through the speakers and all the other stuff.
I don't mind what Dad says, though.
What does Dad say?
You never see the hard days in a photo album, but
Yeah,
those are the
true.
ones that get you from one happy snapshot to the next.
I thought it was a
True.
beautiful conversation, but
I do. I wish
It's
I
not
would've-
wrong.
I had hoped for more because that hard
Yes,
times, like,
it's-
what part did you play in this? Like, how to and us be like, "I didn't do anything." Be like, and maybe
Yeah, the
Dad
wrong
goes, "How many
answer.
times have I heard that from you?" And Ashton be like, "What do you mean?" And then 3rd grade, 5th grade, 7th grade, 10th grade, 11th,
all the grades.
having all those things of like the flashbacks, and him go,
Yeah.
oh God, you're right, Dad. Oh no, I've done it. I'm wrong. Like, that element would have saved this movie for me. Because then I'm like, cool, he learned. And he learned really fast, and it could be a trope that he turned his life around really quick. I could make fun of that, but I would have taken it and been like, okay, hey, movie tried. It did what it could to get us across the finish line with some kind of character arc. But we don't. She opens the door and says, "You guys understand, right?" And they sort of, Mom smiles like she knows, and Dad kind of says, "Oh, okay." And then they embrace outside, and he says, "I'm sorry."
Like, I still want to be with you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna brand the gate, Willie.
Bring it on, Willie!
Okay, and this, so
We
every
call SWAT team on you.
I love this part too.
okay, so yeah, he charges the gate and it doesn't budge.
Yeah, because it's like metal. You like broke his car.
He's like, "Well, that's a gate, isn't it?"
The whole time I'm like, back up further,
Right.
no matter what,
Right.
because that's not.
And I
Yeah.
love how they like talk crap about his car through the whole movie.
Yeah,
That's a nice car.
yeah, it is.
It is a nice car.
Well, then he rammed it into the
Until
gate.
he rammed it into the gate.
Now it's broken. So yeah, she pushes the button, opens the gate because he's about to give up. He's about to get in the car and drive away, but she opens the gate. He takes off, and Kyle's like, "Go get her, man," or whatever.
Kyle's so funny.
is.
He's a weirdo.
He's got anger issues, too.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he was
His
in a
are
lot of
worse.
early 2000 movies too.
Yeah, probably. So they embrace. They still want to still give this a try. Yeah, okay, all right. And then
Wow.
that's the end.
That is the
I
end.
gotta say, like, the music in this movie is,
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. What is the
The-
song
the
that
so-
plays right there?
The same one that plays during their wedding.
Oh, yeah. At the very end, it's Michelle Branch.
Yes, I love. Oh, that is nostalgia.
Yep.
But
I love that song, too.
That little piano track that plays during their wedding,
Mhm.
and then it plays later on. Like,
Yep.
it just makes me. I get nostalgic hearing. it.
Yeah. So then I was hoping for maybe like a scene where we see them together and when working on themselves.
Going
or
to couples counseling,
Maybe like, hey, like let's work on this. Nothing. Movie ends.
This movie is an hour and 30 minutes long, and it is.
Yeah. It
It hits.
it moves.
Just
It moves. Okay.
my kind of movie.
Okay.
All right, you gonna rate it?
No. I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
We should go last.
I don't want to. I will let you. Phil or Zoe, you guys.
I'm not going first. You can.
Phil, you should go first. It's your movie.
Okay, so answer the question. The first time you watched it, rating versus now you watching it.
It's the same rating. It's
Okay.
just not necessarily one of my favorite top.
Yeah.
Like my top two were Knight's Tale in this movie.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
because of like all the little flaws that we like picked apart here and there that I didn't realize when I watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I say kid, teenager.
Right.
But it's like I said earlier, this was a romantic comedy whose audience was targeted more towards young guys, I feel like.
Yeah.
Can you
So
kind of
it was-
explain?
So there were movies in that era from 2000.
It's a little raunchy.
Yeah.
No.
It's like the Tom Green movies.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Tom Green now is like on a ranch and has left Hollywood behind
Oh.
and is like, because he kind of was like, it hurt me. I didn't like it. I didn't like what I was doing in it. He owns like he's a ranch and he's ranching and doing all that stuff. Anyway, but like the Tom Greens, the Ashton Kutcher movies, Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
All of those, like, really.
American Pie.
American Pie.
I wouldn't even consider that a romantic
Something
comedy.
About Mary.
No, we're just talking
That
about
was
like
good.
Oh.
guy.
How those movies were targeted.
Yeah.
The New Guy.
Oh, I love the new guy though.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's so, but a lot of those movies were definitely, they call it the male gaze.
Yeah.
Like they were definitely targeted. But and again, this is not an argument in support or in denial of the male gaze. That's not my game here. But those movies were successful. They got butts in seats and they made money. Eventually, it got to be too gross out, and people just kind of gave up and was like, "Oh, that's just disgusting what you're doing on screen now." But for a while there, that was a very good market to corner. And if you could do it well, you'd get some good
I mean,
return.
there's how many American Pies?
Yeah.
Like a million.
And then there's like the National Lampoon movies.
Oh, I love this.
As well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of male gaze movies in the early 2000s. I don't know when it ended. Phil may or may not have that idea there, but it was an interesting time. Like, you look at it through the 2025 lens, and this movie is bad if you like analyze it through like my critical eyes. I know Zoe's giving it a pass because she loves it, and it's
Especially
fun.
like if you think about like all the domestic abuse.
Yeah, there's some serious, like, if we were to really remove ourselves from the, so like
That's true.
So here's the thing. I will freely admit, because I use that, right? I say, oh, it was funny in 2003. Looking through the lens of 2025, our humor has changed. So I'm going to say the same thing. Like in that time, yeah, it was probably hilarious. And there's still elements of hilarious, like fun that we can have with this movie. So yeah, your rating is?
It's a 9, 10.
Okay.
It's still funny.
Yeah.
It still gets me. There were parts of it that I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
Like the cockroach.
Right.
And probably can't talk about that one. But yeah, but anyways, yeah, so
other stuff.
I love it. And
Yeah.
it's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Seeing Brittany Murphy again,
Yeah.
it gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang,
Yeah.
gone too soon.
Yeah.
Like I wonder
Yeah.
what she would be doing now.
Right.
She'd be an all-star. She would be, because we'll talk about that here in a second, because that's part of my review. Zoe, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I told Phil last night it's a 10 out of 10 still for me.
Yeah.
Actually, that surprised me.
Yeah.
That I was still laughing at all the jokes,
Yeah.
and maybe it's because it took me back to like a more nostalgic
Yeah.
time. Because actually, when this movie came out, I would have been 11. That's probably not when I watched it, but
Right.
I was 11. So yeah, I don't know. I understand what you're saying for
Yeah.
sure, but I just kept thinking about, okay, what would like a 19-year-old married
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
be
right.
doing?
Yeah.
And this
Fair.
is what it would be, a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All
yeah.
right, Vicki?
It's okay.
It's okay not to like it.
Well, I liked it more than I thought I would.
Okay.
Like, well, but part of it, like, I was entertained sitting next to you watching this with him going,
Just
pick up his notebook and writing.
Notes on notes.
I heard
And
the
just like
grunt
the
at my
dis-
house.
Yeah.
It's like the discussion and even
Yeah.
just seeing like the weird things that we had in common with this couple. I did not expect that. 6.5, 7. That's what I'm gonna give this film.
Okay.
It's not bad. That means it's watchable.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you had put like a Heath Ledger in this movie, can you imagine that would have been incredible?
But it would have been a whole different
It would, but
vibe.
But it
True.
would still been funny.
because
Oh,
Heath
yeah.
Ledger had comedic
And, like-
chops. 10 Things I Hate About You. That man was hilarious.
Well, that's a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think because here's the thing, like I talked about at the beginning, Ashton Kutcher's mannerisms and how like just out of control he is. It was such a reminder, almost kind of like a I don't want to call it PTSD because that's trivializing PTSD, but it reminded me of Will Ferrell and a lot of those other physical actors who have just really, they've become jokes upon themselves in my mind. And with Ashton Kutcher, I'm like, this is just everything he's done in every movie ever. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that part. And I think that's the part that frustrated me. Because if you had, again, tweaked it a little bit, maybe brought in a different actor, a Heath Ledger, or I don't even know, somebody else who could have really moderated and told a better comedic story without being an absolute jerk. Because Brittany Murphy is everything in this movie. She is picture perfect from start to finish. Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely understand why she tries to make a joke and tries to loosen things. Like her character does that really well and doesn't do the physical comedy, doesn't overdo it, except for the sobbing like scene that we see early on. But like she's real. Mm-hmm. You absolutely believe that, and you laugh at the moments, and you understand. Like she creates a character that you go on that journey with, and you don't bail. You don't bail on Brittany Murphy's character in this movie. I bailed so much on Ashton's character.
And see, that's why I was bringing up like how I don't know, I guess I can't talk for you. I grew up like watching Punk, that 70s show.
Yeah.
So to me, this is like the epitome of Ashton Kutcher. Yeah. Like this is what he does, and so that's what I'm expecting.
And I could never get into the 70s show because I was just like, this is so dumb. I love Red Foreman, and he would be like, you did, he would call out, whatever. But I was just like, I don't like this show. It's just, it's not my jam. And so that may be part of my problem is that I wasn't okay with Ashton then, and I'm not okay with him now.
Because he pretty much plays the exact same character. I mean.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Big old dumb idiot. But he does play Steve Jobs in a later movie, so he does have some arc. He's have some.
Yeah, that one was okay.
There was that one series with Danny Masterson that was more The Forest or something. You watched it.
Oh, I don't.
Doesn't remember.
It's him and Hyde.
Doing what?
They're like in the woods and stuff. Dude?
I don't remember this.
You watched this like within the past year or two.
She's
the bear.
We've all slept.
Not the bear.
But
well,
the bear does not have either of those characters.
I'm gonna look it up.
We're gonna verify the content we're speaking about.
Because you're looking at me
but
like,
the bear
I'm
is
crazy.
a good show. You should watch it.
Okay.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. So anyway, So I think if you subbed in somebody else other than Ashton Kutcher, probably like a 7 or an 8, maybe a 9 if we could get a good guy in there. On Brittany Murphy alone, 8.59. Like just that is masterful storytelling.
The Ranch.
Oh, I love The Ranch.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
That's right.
There you go.
He's also in Butterfly Effect.
Actually,
that movie.
I love the Butterfly Effect too. See, I love Ashton Kutcher. I can't I see no wrong with him because he's hilarious to me, and even in serious movies, he's good.
Yeah.
There was another point I don't remember.
You were talking about a movie or a show or something.
Yeah.
I thought you needed to watch.
Oh, you should watch The Ranch. Look up who the older guy with the stash is.
It's Danny Masterson.
Oh, I can't watch that.
Hyde.
No, not him. The dad. That's the brother. Spoiler alert, he dies. So he's not in there that long.
Aaron saw. Is that eye roll I saw?
Because you're going to love this actor. Like the one he's looking up.
Okay, with the dad character. So here's my deal. I've talked with my other friend about this. I will not go and watch Tom Cruise movies. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Scientology. Tom Cruise.
I thought we weren't supposed to bring that word up.
We're doing it.
They're gonna come for us, Aaron.
Oh, they've already come for some of the religious podcasts that I do anyway. So.
Oh my God.
I don't.
Have they really?
We've had a comment about I want to come on the show and talk about it.
Oh, I knew it.
We have drama.
They're all like talking on the show like, oh, we're gonna try to like edit this and be careful, and they didn't.
No, we were full on. So Tom Cruise is associated with Scientology, and it's been well documented on multiple documentaries, including the Danny Masterson trial, where evidence was introduced about the behavior and actions of the Church of Scientology and how they handled the accusations against him. Spoiler alert, they didn't. So I don't watch Tom Cruise movies. I will not watch another Mission Impossible movie. I know the latest one, The Reckoning, is great and amazing. I know that Top Gun Maverick is amazing, but I can't do it because same thing with the Danny Masterson situation. I can't watch a show with him on it now because I know what he did. And I know that it was permissed by people in his group, and in his world and in his community, and I'm not doing it. And that's a hard line for me. And I'm not saying that anybody else should follow that, because that's a personal choice. But the reason why I'm like, and probably why Phil's saying he wouldn't want to watch it, because if Danny Masterson isn't that show over in episode after episode, and be like, nope.
It's not. He's not like a big character.
Okay.
But the person I'm talking about is Sam Elliott. Is the father.
Sam Elliott!
And this is about Colorado's rural town. They're ranchers.
Oh, I know what movie. That's the show. Okay, yeah, Ashton Kutcher was okay.
Yes!
Now
He's a football player.
brain
of
is
course.
picking up on what you're laying down. Okay, I've got it. I'm here.
I was like, I know Aaron would probably like this.
yeah, no, I think I've watched it back in the day. I've watched a couple episodes.
I was obsessed.
It was interesting. It felt a little bit like they were trying hard for the laugh track. But I love Sam Elliott in that series because anything that man says, he could read me the phone book. He could read me.
He's amazing.
He could read me a mortuary record, and I'd be like, "Let's go, let's do this." His voice is just it's great. So
And the stash.
yes, yeah.
He's the mayor of one of the it was either Family Guy or American Dad.
Probably.
He's the mayor in one of those shows
really?
now.
He was in Justified as well, I think.
Oh,
He
okay.
played an.
I think you're right.
He played an antagonist. He's just a classic actor.
Oh, yes.
Classic.
Amazing.
So I've watched. It's funny how your brain. So this may make sense in in the Land of the Counselor, but I don't know if you've heard this, but if you are like trying to find a word, your brain will go into background mode and will try and find that word or that memory, and that's why a lot of times when you're like standing somewhere like an hour later and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember that. Because your brain has been accessing those memories and trying to find it because it's stored back there somewhere.
Yeah, in the database.
But it's buried in the back of your long-term memory.
And it gets worse as you get older because
Yeah.
you have more memories and more
Yeah,
experience.
No
you gotta go dig
kidding.
through it. So The Ranch is a show I'm familiar with. It just took my brain a minute to go, oh, hey, Aaron, you've actually watched this show. It was probably 5 years or more ago, but I did watch that show.
Well, fun story. I found out about this when I was the manager at Subway in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And one of our regular customers, also named Sam, told me about this show because I was like, I miss Colorado. I want to go back.
yeah.
And so after watching this, I was like, I have to go back to Colorado, and that's
yeah.
actually why we're here.
Yeah.
So full circle moment.
That's why
with the
we're
show.
here.
I mean, that's not the only reason. I'm just saying it really got me back into like.
It's like that's
truth
not
has
our
come out.
origin story. It's a lot more complex.
It's a
than-
part of it.
It's a part of it. It has a piece of your origin story.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, so I remember watching that show, and I remember kind of being like, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know about it.
Because Ashton's like a big football star.
I think that part annoyed me. I'm not a fan of
And then he came back to work on the ranch.
yeah, and he has conflict, and there's a girl that he was.
Yeah, and they have a baby. and
Yeah, it's a
thing.
whole thing. Lovely. Okay, well, if you're interested in watching that show, it's on the interwebs somewhere.
I don't know what it's on now.
All right, so are we watching Uptown Girl next week?
Uptown Girl. Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, well, let's do it. It stars your and I will commiserate with Phil. Brittany Murphy is a presence on screen. She
Yeah.
is an absolute you pay attention to her. Like you are drawn not just because obviously she's a young woman or whatever, but because of her acting and her ability and her presence. There is something to your point special about her in how she is on screen. Like she
Some eyeballs, man.
and she's got so we talk about like you look at Audrey Hepburn, Katharine Hepburn, all these classic Hollywood actresses. You look at the photos of them, and you're naturally just in the manner of how they're able to portray themselves. You're drawn to them through the screen or through the movie, through the characters. And Brittany Murphy,
She had it.
I would argue that she did. She had the elements of those classical Hollywood leading ladies who could do anything and did a lot of incredible things
Like
before.
she voiced Luann.
Yeah,
She was in 8 Mile, which I don't like her in that movie
yeah,
because I'm like, don't do her like that.
yeah.
She's playing a character.
I know, but as a kid,
Right.
I'm like, leave my woman alone. You know what I mean? Like, I'll fight you, Eminem.
And you would lose.
Yes, you would lose.
Well, no, because I was a child. He would technically lose.
Go to jail.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose too because
I-
she's not gonna date a minor.
I love Phil's
Okay.
Phil's headcanon is a fantastic journey.
I just remember like
If I
watching
met him
her in
getting
that
a
and was like,
moment.
man, I don't. It just she did great in the movie.
Yeah.
but they made her look really bad.
Yeah. You're like, you're pretty, Brittany Murphy. You're prettier than that. You deserve to look better.
Oh my god.
8-year-old Phil. You're pretty. You can be pretty.
Anyways, you're gonna love Uptown Girls. It's amazing.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Well,
I used to own it on VHS, actually.
there you go. All right. Any other nerdy things we want to talk about before we close out the program?
Stop remaking movies.
Oh my goodness.
Period.
No more live actions.
Yeah.
If I
Disney,
see one
stop.
more Stitch, he's so ugly.
Yeah,
It's so bad.
it's unfortunate.
We
There.
talked about that last week.
Well, I have a public
we
service
did.
announcement.
Yes.
Please get your tires checked.
Yes, it's very important.
Yes.
We passed a lot of
We did.
cars that were like broken down and bits of tire, some of them in the middle of the road. We had a close call.
We'll be going to Wisconsin soon. You need to set an appointment.
Yep.
And get your oil changed. That's also something I need to
Get
do.
your oil change. Do the adult stuff, the stuff that you don't want to do, but you need to do. They're actually bringing back King of the Hill.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's like, to your point, there's not an original idea out there right now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of reinvention, rebooting, restarting, all this stuff. And I don't think Hollywood understands how tired people are getting with it. They're like, give us an original story.
Yeah.
Give us something new. And it's like, we're not.
Oh, I love King of the Hill though.
Yeah, King of the Hill is a
Yeah, I'm
fantastic
excited
I'm
TV
gonna
show.
get mad at more episodes.
Yeah, so it's coming back. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets handled. Yeah, not a lot of nerdy news. There's computer gaming news. There's some stuff coming out. We'll talk about that probably later at some point down the week. And then yeah, that's all I got. My name is Aaron,
My name's Vicki.
I'm Zoe.
I'm Phil.
and this has been Nerds by Screenlight. We'll see you on the next episode next week for Uptown Girl.
Bye.
The raspberry flop of ours will be out in a moment. The kitchen is closed.
You've been listening to the Nerds by Screenlight podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, a language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.